I've ever taken. The variety of scenery and landscapes going through Central Oregon has been just fabulous. I definitely enjoyed that drive along the Columbia River 2 days ago, and then going down the coast for about 100 miles. But today, just in terms of variety, has been something special for sure. We continue this incredible feast for the eyes, driving through the John Day wilderness. So I guess if somebody asks me what would be a full day of driving in the United States where I could see the most beauty ever, I'd be hard-pressed to come up with a better trip than going from Salem, Oregon to John Day, Oregon. We have another 38 miles. This is called Picture Gorge, by the way. Picture Gorge. We have another 36 miles to the town of John Day. I doubt we're going to see anything but road and earth and a few other vehicles over those 36 miles. It's been almost that long since we've seen anything else. Whew. I am loving this. Well, look, there's some farming going on over there. So not 100% wilderness. Well, we finally made it to the town of John Day. And what a day this has been for John. Whew. Wow, what a drive. Fantastic. And look at all this civilization, will you? There's even a Dollar General over there. There's a budget motel. We got an auto parts store. Rocky Mountain Dispensary, if that's your thing. Timbers Bistro. Well, what a drive. At this point, I'm going to say, see you in a few days. I'll be visiting my people in Eastern Oregon again for a few days before I start back east for real. So, we'll be getting back on the road at that time. And again, there's plenty of interesting stops along the way. So I hope you'll join me for that. And I hope you have enjoyed this day traversing Central Oregon. Wow. It's been so awesome. So, see you soon. Well, today's the day when we start heading back east. But before we get back on Interstate 84, what I call the new Oregon Trail. I thought I'd let you have a look at the original Oregon Trail, the OGOT. This is it right here. These are the original wagon ruts from perhaps, the largest overland migration that I know of in the world in the last millennium, when some 250,000 people made the journey from various places in the east. Two most common launch points were Independence, Missouri and St. Joseph, Missouri, who kind of had a rivalry going as to which was the better place to get yourself outfitted and find a wagon train, hire a trail guide if you needed to, and prepare for your 2,100-mile overland journey by wagon to Oregon country, as they called it then. Peak years of migration were between 1847 and 1860. So around 200,000 people, 250,000. Estimates vary. It's hard. Nobody was keeping an exact count, but a kind of middle of the road estimate is about 250,000 people. And about 10% of them died in the attempt to get to Oregon City and the Willamette River Valley, present-day Portland area. So we're in eastern Oregon, where travelers following what they called the Emigrant Road would have come from over those hills there, having spent the last 2 months looking at this same old sagebrush every day, coming through present-day Wyoming, northern Utah, southern Idaho, and then into what is now southeast Oregon. And then continuing into the valley beyond there, and a bit to the right, keeping between the hills. Ultimately, they came to Oregon's Blue Mountains, which was their last sort of major overland challenge. Then down into the Columbia River Valley to a place called the Dalles along the Columbia River, where the Cascade Mountains sort of blocked them from proceeding further by land until someone tried to build a road through there. But at that point, most would either disassemble their wagons and load them onto rafts, or perhaps try and refashion their wagon into a raft, build their own raft to take themselves down the Columbia River, which itself could be treacherous. And so even some people died drowning in the Columbia River, just short of their goal of making it to Oregon country. Common causes of death were drowning in river crossings, accidental gunshot wounds, accidentally being run over by a wagon, and then various food and waterborne diseases. Modern day thru hikers who have done some of the major trails like the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, can surely appreciate the challenge that the Oregon Trail was. On foot, just like the AT, the journey would take 4 to 6 months, just like the AT. But on the AT, you don't have to get virtually all of your food together at the beginning and take a ton of food, and I mean a literal ton. Thousands of pounds of food. Beans, dried meat, dried fruit, lard for cooking, and then all of your cookware, all of your utensils, all of your just all of your gear loaded into a wagon, to the point where there was no room for you and your family, who would walk beside the wagon. And then you have to deal with the livestock. So most people had oxen pulling their wagon, as oxen tend to be pretty hardy and can survive on what you see here and virtually any kind of grasses. Not many resupply points. It would be at least 5 or 6 weeks between places where you might be able to get some supplies that you were in need of. So trading posts were few and far between, and there were a few forts along the way as well where you might be able to get supplies at premium prices, because it wasn't easy to get that stuff out here to supply travelers. If you're ever in Eastern Oregon, I highly recommend visiting that place right up there. See that building up on the hill? That is the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center. If you're traveling I-84, you get off at exit 302 to go to that. So it's near Baker City, Oregon. And I've been to it twice, and it's excellent. I've been in some other museums where there's some Oregon Trail history and some stuff, but that's definitely the best. That's the most comprehensive one. And you can also check out the original trail, which we've been walking. Look at that. And that probably looks a little prettier than it did in, let's say, 1853, when there was nothing developed over there, and there weren't any fields there. There were the hills beyond, and otherwise, lots of sagebrush. And of course, watch out for rattlesnakes. The ultimate through hike with much lower survival rates than we have on the major U.S. hiking trails these days. So when the ruts come up this way and they meet present-day Oregon State Road 86, you can find them on the other side here, I believe. Now this is private property over here, ranch land or something. You see that fence there, and you see this road. But the wagon ruts, I believe, do appear over here somewhere. Yeah, there they are. Now, I think it might be all right to go down here and go up to that sign. I don't want to trespass, but I am on this side of the fence, so. Private property, both sides of the roadway. So, yeah, there we go. Very nice. This is as close as I'll get. I don't want to cause any kind of problem. So, of course, this grade for the road has been built and covered over the old Oregon Trail. But you can see the ruts coming right through there, and it would have come this way. And then continued over that away to the track that we were walking on. Okay, well, we're gonna get back on the new improved Oregon Trail, start heading back east. We're not gonna take the same route that we took coming out. So it's not just a matter of retracing the same route, and also we've got some more surprises along the way. We're not just trying to put our head down and crush miles back to Pennsylvania. I'm gonna make the trip back part of the whole enjoyment as well. For further reading on the Oregon Trail, I recommend this book, The Oregon Trail, An American Saga by David Derry. Probably the most comprehensive, if you're gonna have just one source for your Oregon Trail information, this would be the one to have, I think. Very good. Well, we're back on the road. We've crossed into Idaho, and we're now in the Mountain Time Zone, so we've lost one of the 3 hours that we're going to lose on our way back to the Eastern Time Zone. So it's 7:31 p.m., 92 degrees, and 80-mile-per-hour speed limit. I did my best to clean the windshield, but it's been kind of hard to keep it clean. If I were a better videographer, could mount a camera to the outside or something. I don't know what people do to make it look so good. Hey, you get what you get on my channel. What can I say? Well, good morning from the parking lot of a Love's truck stop. We drove till 2:30 last night, so we did all the Utah portion and, at night in the dark. Fueled by coffee and Steely Dan. You can't get sleepy listening to Bodhisattva. Tried to go ahead and go to sleep, and I'm not sure if I slept any at all, maybe a little bit, but I was too tired to just get back on the road. But I also didn't seem to be going to sleep very well, so I went ahead and went in and took a shower. So my shower ticket says 3:54 a.m. Shower cost $18. Well, I guess let's get us some coffee and some breakfast. And I want to take a look at the map and see about how long it should take us to get to our destination today. Coffee and hard-boiled eggs. Yes, indeed. And also, for breakfast, we have part of a sandwich in the cooler. Out with the old from last night, in with the new. The first cup of the day. Oh, that's good. 419 plus 23 is 442. So it looks like we have 442 miles to our next stop. All right. So it's 8:45 now. So get there by 5 probably. Do we need salt and pepper for our hard-boiled eggs? Oh, pull the tab. All right, there we go. I don't think so. Just good old egg flavor. Okay, let's deal with the cooler here. The new cup of ice. And with the old cup of ice, which isn't completely melted, we can fill a water bottle. Oh, yeah. Well, let's have a bite of the roller bite. So we're in Laramie, Wyoming, and so far we've been retracing our route back from Oregon along Interstates 84 and 80. But right up here, we're going to depart from this route and we'll end up taking a different route back to Pennsylvania. So we're going to get off Interstate 80 right here and take US 287 south. Where will this take us? Wait and see. So we take a right here. And no more Interstate 80 for us. Here's something I don't get to experience in Pennsylvania very often. A two-lane road where the speed limit is 70. So if you had to pass somebody, you can certainly do it on this stretch, but you can also get stuck behind someone. And it looks like right up here somebody is either pulled off to the side or, yeah, that looks like they're going slow. And that was just the shoulder, but they do have some turnouts occasionally, so that if you're the one who's sort of slowing down people behind you, you can turn out, you know, off to the right and let them pass you. For those of you who live in the western United States, this all may be quite ordinary, but it's a novelty for us East Coasters. Welcome to Colorado, where the speed limit is 65. Let's pull into this rest area right here. We are way up here, just inside Colorado. Do we feel like hiking? There's a nice little table and shelter up here. I like these rocks over here. Well, that concludes this day hike. I guess we'll take a look at this sign down here and then get back on the road.